Above us lies a canvas of wonders and warnings. Some call them myths, others swear they are real. Here on X-Site, we explore the stories that make us question everything we know. Watch closely, because every frame may reveal the unthinkable. The night is still, so still that even the crickets seem to have paused their song. The sky stretches above like an endless black ocean, dotted with cold, indifferent stars. It is the kind of night where time feels frozen, where every sound echoes twice as loud. Then, without warning, the silence is shattered, not by noise, but by light. A sudden green glow blooms across the sky, rich and deep, as though a drop of emerald fire has spilled into the darkness. It does not flicker or waver like a plane's light. It simply hovers, steady, alive, and watching. The small group of witnesses standing below freezes. Instinct tells them it's a helicopter, but their senses reject the idea. There is no steady chop of rotors slicing the air, no mechanical hum carried on the breeze. The light feels unnatural, as though it's not merely reflecting but producing a glow of its own, warm yet sharp, like the edge of a blade. A camera shakes as someone raises it toward the light, trying to capture every detail. The lens focuses, revealing the green object pulsing faintly, its edges blurred like liquid energy. It tilts, moving not like a machine but like a creature, deliberate, searching, almost predatory. "It's not a helicopter," a voice whispers, trembling with the weight of the unknown. "What is that?" The words barely escape their lips before something happens. The glow shivers once, like a dying flame, and vanishes. Not like an aircraft speeding away, but as if reality itself has closed around it, erasing its existence. The witnesses stare at the spot where it had been, but all that remains is a hollow darkness, deeper than the rest of the sky, as if the stars themselves are unwilling to fill the void left behind. A narrow suburban street lies under a heavy, velvet sky. The houses are quiet, their windows reflecting the faint glow of distant city lights. Above, the stars seem ordinary until a man notices something that is. He lifts his phone, curiosity sharpening into unease. There, between the constellations, 3 bright points of light form a perfect triangle, too symmetrical to be chance. At its center glows a single red light, steady and warm like the slow heartbeat of a living organism. "It's not a plane," he murmurs, his breath clouding in the cool air. "Look, there's no blinking, no wings." His voice shakes, as though saying it aloud makes the sight more real, more terrifying. The lights hover perfectly still, suspended in defiance of gravity. There is no sound, no hum, no breeze. Even the night air feels heavy, as though the world is holding its breath. The man zooms closer with his phone, but the image only grows stranger. The triangle does not behave like something mechanical. Its glow shifts rhythmically, as if breathing. Some people dismiss these sightings as flares or drones, but this, he knows, is not that. There is an intelligence in the way the lights move, an awareness, as if the triangle is not only being observed, but observing back. Then, with a suddenness that chills his bones, the lights begin to dim. Slowly, the perfect triangle dissolves into the black sky. It doesn't drift away or fall. It simply ceases to exist, fading like smoke in a cold wind. The man lowers his phone, his hands trembling. He has no words, only the hollow realization that he might have just witnessed something not meant for human eyes. The night stretches over the quiet countryside, draped in a heavy, starless sky. The air is still, so silent that even the faint rustle of leaves seems loud. Then, without warning, a glow appears, soft at first, like a candle in the distance. Another light follows, and then another until the horizon is lined with a row of glowing orbs, each the color of deep, burning amber. The witnesses, standing frozen in the shadows, can hardly believe what they're seeing. Are we seeing aliens? One voice mutters, the words trembling out like a prayer. The lights float together in an eerie perfection, moving side by side in absolute silence. There is no sound of engines, no whir of mechanical wings, just a soft hum in the air, like a vibration that only the soul can hear. Their formation is precise, too deliberate to be random. The fleet glides in unison, like sentinels sweeping across the heavens as if scanning the earth below. The glow of the orbs is strange. Each one pulses with a slow, steady rhythm, like a heartbeat shared among them all. At times, their colors shift slightly, from bright orange to a pale, ghostly gold, as though they are communicating in a language of light. One witness raises a shaking camera, zooming in. Through the lens, the lights look alive, as if cloaked in a thin, vibrating energy field. "These aren't planes," someone whispers. "They can't be." The fleet moves steadily for several minutes, hovering just above the tree line, their presence both beautiful and terrifying. There is no rush, no chaos, only a calm, otherworldly control that makes every human instinct scream. Then, as silently as they arrived, the orbs begin to fade. One by one, they dissolve into the dark sky, as though slipping behind an invisible curtain. Soon, the horizon is empty again, the silence almost too much to bear. The witnesses stand motionless, cameras still raised, their hearts pounding with the realization that they may have just watched something not meant for this world. Above a sleeping coastal town, the night sky glows with an unsettling stillness. The stars twinkle faintly, but their quiet beauty is suddenly overshadowed by something far stranger. One light appears first, bright white and unnervingly still, then another, and another. Within moments, a total of 17 lights hang in the sky, aligning themselves with unnatural precision. Gasps ripple through the crowd of onlookers. What is that?" A man murmurs, his voice barely audible over the sound of waves crashing softly against the shore. The lights don't blink like plain lights, nor do they drift apart like lanterns. They form something impossible. A perfect, three-dimensional pyramid hovering high above the earth. It's massive, silent, and unmoving. The shape is so symmetrical it feels deliberate, as if designed by some intelligence beyond human comprehension. The witnesses can't look away. Some hold their phones up, hands trembling, trying to capture this surreal vision. Others stand frozen, unable to even breathe. The lights seem to pulse faintly, as if communicating with one another. A faint glow links them, almost like invisible threads, giving the impression that the pyramid is not just a formation of lights, but a single, unified structure. The sight of it sends chills racing down spines. It's too perfect, too orchestrated to be an accident. Minutes pass like hours. The pyramid does not move. It does not falter. It hovers in its place like a silent guardian watching the world below. A woman whispers a prayer under her breath, convinced that what she's seeing is something divine or something deeply alien. Then, without warning, the lights begin to dim. Slowly, one by one, they fade, as though vanishing behind a veil of shadows. The pyramid unravels, its sharp geometry dissolving into the dark. In less than 30 seconds, the sky is empty again. The crowd remains rooted to the ground, stunned and breathless. There is no sound except for the echo of waves and their own rapid heartbeats. The moment lingers like a dream, too real to dismiss, too strange to explain. The countryside is bathed in the dim light of dusk, where the horizon bleeds into soft shades of amber and violet. Shadows of tall pines stretch across the ground, swaying slightly in the wind. It is peaceful, but that peace is suddenly fractured by something unnatural, something gliding silently above the treetops. At first, it looks like a reflection, a trick of light on the lens of someone's camera. But as the figure emerges from behind the canopy, it becomes clear that this is no illusion. A narrow, metallic object floats steadily just above the trees. Its surface glimmers like brushed steel, smooth and seamless, as if carved from a single piece of alien material. The witnesses hold their breath. "It looks like a saucer," someone mutters, their voice laced with disbelief. Indeed, the object is oval-shaped, tilted slightly as though observing the earth below. The fading light of the sun dances across its surface, making it look almost liquid, like molten silver frozen in midair. The camera zooms in. There are no wings, no tail, no markings, nothing to suggest human craftsmanship. It is completely silent, its presence almost eerie, as though the air itself bends around it. One witness swears they can feel a low vibration, not through their ears but deep inside their chest, like a hum too low for normal hearing. The object hovers for a moment, as if deciding what to do next. It tilts slightly, revealing the faintest ripple of light along its edges, like static electricity crawling across metal. For a brief second, it feels as though the craft is alive, aware of the humans staring up at it. Then, with a sudden burst of motion, it accelerates. The speed is unnatural, impossible. It doesn't build momentum like a plane. It leaps forward in a blur, slicing through the sky with a speed so fast that the camera struggles to track it. Within seconds, it vanishes beyond the horizon, leaving behind nothing but silence and a trembling sense of awe. The witnesses stand frozen, unable to process what they've just seen. One man finally breaks the silence. No human machine moves like that. But his voice is barely above a whisper, as though speaking too loud might shatter the fragile reality they've just experienced. The neighborhood is asleep, cloaked under a sky heavy with shadows. Streetlights cast pale circles on the pavement, but above there is something brighter, something alive. A sudden burst of orange light appears in the distance, shimmering like a fireball suspended in midair. At first, it looks like nothing more than a distant glow, but as the witnesses stare, it draws closer. They can see it now, a sphere of light, smooth and perfectly round, hovering low above the rooftops. Its surface shimmers like molten glass, swirling with colors of blue, orange, and pale white, shifting as if stirred by invisible currents. "It's got an aura," a voice whispers, almost in awe. Indeed, around the sphere is a soft halo of light, pulsating gently, expanding and contracting like the breathing of a living creature. Every time it pulses, the air itself seems to ripple, like heat waves on a summer road. Someone raises a phone, recording the strange visitor. Through the camera lens, the glow is even more mesmerizing. It rotates slowly, its light scattering like tiny sparks that vanish into the darkness. For a moment, it feels as though the object is watching them, scanning, observing. The silence is overwhelming. No wind, no engines, just the faint hum of energy that can be felt more than heard. One of the witnesses swears they can feel a tingling on their skin, as if the air around them is charged with electricity. Then, the sphere shifts. Its rotation speeds up, the colors blending into a single, radiant glow of orange-white. Without warning, it tilts slightly and a thin beam of light flashes from its side, slicing the darkness for just a second. Gasps fill the night, and before anyone can react, the object begins to rise. Faster and faster it ascends, until it's nothing more than a pinpoint of light among the stars. And then, it's gone. The silence returns, but the witnesses remain rooted in place, their hearts pounding with the sense that they have just stood beneath something not of this earth. The night is cloudless, the moon hanging high and full, casting a cold silver glow across the earth. A man steps out into his backyard, phone in hand, aiming to capture the moon's quiet beauty. But as he zooms in, something strange catches his eye. Just beside the glowing disk of the moon, a dark silhouette moves. At first, he thinks it's a bird or maybe a passing satellite. But then the shape shifts, gliding into the open sky, revealing 3 distinct points of light. They form a triangle, sharp-edged and perfect, as if drawn against the canvas of the night. At the center of this triangle, a faint, pulsing glow beats softly, red and alive. "This isn't a star," he whispers to himself. "It's moving and spinning." His voice trembles as he steadies the phone, zooming in as much as he can. The object is unlike anything he's seen before. It doesn't drift like a balloon or rocket forward like a plane. Instead, it hovers with impossible stillness, rotating slowly as though inspecting the moon, or perhaps watching him. The faint metallic sheen of its surface catches the moonlight, giving it an otherworldly gleam. The witnesses around him exchange nervous murmurs. Could it be military? Someone asks, but the shape is too strange, too alien. It doesn't blink, doesn't emit any sound. Its silence feels intentional, like the hush before a whisper. The man zooms further. The closer he looks, the more alive it seems. The 3 points of light flicker, not chaotically, but with a strange rhythm, like breathing or a pulse. It feels as though the triangle is aware of being watched, as though it knows. Then, in a moment that chills everyone to the bone, the object dims. One corner light fades first, then the second, then the third, until the shape vanishes completely into the dark void of the sky. The moon shines on, unbothered, as if nothing had ever been there. The witnesses stand frozen, the silence pressing down on them. They know they saw something impossible, something alive, something that wasn't meant to be explained. The night air is heavy with tension. Clouds gather low on the horizon, swirling like dark giants preparing for battle. The wind is still, unnervingly still, as though the world is holding its breath before the storm breaks. Then, without warning, lights appear, glowing spheres scattered across the sky. At first, there are only 2, faint and distant, but soon more emerge. 5, 7, a dozen lights, all hovering in silence, their glow casting eerie reflections on the restless clouds. The witnesses watch from their porches, their faces pale with awe. Are these signs? Are they watching us? A woman whispers, clutching her phone tightly. The orbs pulse softly, shifting between orange, white, and pale gold, their colors rippling like waves of energy. They move in deliberate patterns, sliding past each other as though communicating in a language no human can understand. As the storm clouds churn above, the lights hold their ground. Not a single one is shaken by the coming wind. It's as if they exist beyond the reach of the storm, mere observers of the chaos brewing below. The silence is broken by a low rumble of thunder in the distance. The lights seem to react, brightening for a brief moment, their glow piercing through the thickening clouds. Some witnesses swear they see faint beams of light connecting them, like threads weaving an invisible net across the sky. Then the wind arrives. A powerful gust sweeps across the rooftops, shaking branches and rattling windows. The lights flicker, once, twice, and then begin to scatter. One by one they ascend, vanishing into the dark ceiling of the storm, swallowed by the rolling black clouds. When the last light disappears, the storm finally breaks. Rain begins to fall, heavy and relentless, washing the streets below. The witnesses remain where they are, soaked but unmoving, their eyes fixed on the sky as if expecting the lights to return. No one speaks. The silence is almost heavier than the rain, as though the world itself has been changed by what just happened. We've only scratched the surface of what's out there. Could these sightings be signs of contact, or are they something much stranger? Tell us your theory in the comments and let's unravel the truth together. Hit subscribe because the next mystery is closer than you think.